Welcome to my YouTube channel. Most people spend this coin every single day without giving it a second thought, yet hidden among billions of ordinary pieces is one version so rare that it has shocked collectors around the world and sparked whispers of a value reaching as high as $70 million. Yes, you heard that right, $70 million for something that looks like nothing more than a simple 5-cent coin from 1999. And the craziest part is that it could still be out there, quietly sitting in someone's drawer, lost in a jar, or even passing through hands unnoticed at a grocery store. Just imagine for a second that the next coin you receive in change could change your entire life forever. And here's where things get even more intense, because this is only the beginning, and later in this journey we're going to uncover another coin that might completely blow your mind. So make sure you stay with me until the very end, because what's coming next will make this already unbelievable story feel even more unreal. Now let's dive into the mystery of the 1999 P Jefferson nickel, a coin that at first glance seems completely ordinary but carries a story that's anything but normal. Back in 1999, the United States Mint in Philadelphia produced millions upon millions of Jefferson nickels, featuring the familiar portrait of Thomas Jefferson on the front and his historic home Monticello on the reverse. Nothing about it screamed rarity or fortune at the time. It was just another year, another batch, another coin entering circulation. But as any seasoned collector knows, it's often the smallest details, the tiniest mistakes, or the rarest production quirks that transform everyday coins into legendary treasures. And that's exactly what happened here. Somewhere in the minting process, a series of highly unusual anomalies began to occur, and while most were caught and destroyed, a few slipped through the cracks and made their way into circulation. These weren't just minor imperfections. We're talking about extremely rare die errors, misaligned strikes, and what some experts believe to be experimental planchets that were never meant to be used for this denomination. Imagine a coin struck on the wrong metal composition or with a double die so strong that the lettering appears almost ghost-like. These are the kinds of features that send collectors into a frenzy because they represent something that was never supposed to exist. One of the most talked about theories surrounding the 1999 P nickel is the existence of a prototype strike, a coin created during testing phases using unconventional materials or pressure settings, and if even one of these prototypes escaped into circulation, its value wouldn't just be high, it would be astronomical. Now picture this: a collector rummaging through a box of old coins at a garage sale, expecting nothing more than a few dollars worth of change, suddenly noticing a slightly off-looking nickel. Maybe the shine is different, maybe the weight feels just a bit unusual, or perhaps the details on Jefferson's face seem sharper or distorted. That moment of curiosity could be the beginning of a life-changing discovery, because coins like this don't announce themselves. They hide in plain sight and wait for someone observant enough to recognize their significance. Over the years there have been whispers in the numismatic community about a handful of these rare 1999 P nickels surfacing in private collections, often discovered by accident and later verified by grading experts, while official auction records remain tightly guarded and sometimes disputed. The estimated value for the rarest variations has climbed into the tens of millions due to their extreme scarcity and the intense demand among elite collectors who are willing to pay almost anything to own a one-of-a-kind piece of minting history. What makes this coin even more fascinating is the era it comes from. The late 1990s were a time of transition for the mint, with new technologies being introduced and old methods being phased out. And whenever there's change, there's room for error, and where there's error, there's opportunity for rarity. This is why coins from this period often carry hidden surprises that weren't immediately recognized at the time. Now here's something that might make you rethink every coin you've ever handled. Most people would receive a 1999 nickel, glance at it for a second, and spend it without hesitation, never realizing that they might have just let go of something incredibly valuable. This is exactly why stories like these continue to captivate collectors and everyday people alike, because the idea that life-changing wealth could be hiding in something so ordinary is both thrilling and a little unsettling at the same time. And if you're thinking this is already insane, just wait, because there's another coin coming up that takes this concept to a whole new level. A coin with a history so mysterious and a value so shocking that even seasoned experts have struggled to fully explain it. So stick around, because you definitely don't want to miss what's next. Now, going back to the 1999 P nickel, one of the key factors that drives its value is condition. Coins that have been preserved in near perfect state, with sharp details and minimal wear, are already desirable, but when you combine that with a rare error or an unusual composition, you get something truly extraordinary. Collectors often use high-powered microscopes and precision scales to examine these coins, looking for tiny clues that could indicate a rare variant. Things like die cracks, off-center strikes, or even subtle differences in color can make all the difference between a common coin and a multimillion-dollar treasure. And this is where the real hunt begins, because these details are not obvious to the untrained eye. They require patience, knowledge, and sometimes a bit of luck. Think about how many coins pass through your hands in a year. Now imagine if just one of them had the potential to change everything. This is why coin collecting isn't just a hobby for many people, it's a treasure hunt, a connection to history, and a chance to uncover something truly special. And speaking of special, remember that upcoming coin I mentioned earlier? The one that could be even more unbelievable than this one? Well, let's just say it involves another unexpected twist in minting history and a level of rarity that pushes the boundaries of what most people think is possible. So don't go anywhere, because the next part of this journey is about to get even more intense. And if you thought this 1999 P nickel was valuable, the next coin is even more unbelievable. Next, 1969 P Jefferson nickel. Have you ever checked your coins carefully? I mean really carefully, because one tiny detail could separate an ordinary piece of pocket change from a coin that collectors whisper about in disbelief. And today we're diving into the story of a 1969 P Jefferson nickel that has been surrounded by rumors, mystery, and jaw-dropping claims of a value reaching into the tens of millions. A coin so controversial and fascinating that even experienced numismatists have argued over its existence and authenticity. And here's the wild part: if this coin is real in the form collectors believe, it represents one of the most dramatic minting anomalies ever to slip through official systems. So before you brush off that old jar of coins sitting somewhere in your home, just imagine that something this rare could be hiding in plain sight, waiting for the right eyes to notice it. Now let's step back to 1969. A time when the United States Mint was dealing with increasing demand for coinage, pushing machines harder, producing at high speeds, and inevitably creating the perfect environment for mistakes. Handful of such coins could exist, possibly fewer than can be counted on one hand, and that level of scarcity is what drives the intense fascination surrounding this coin. It's not just about money. It's about owning something that almost no one else in the world has ever seen. And here's the part that really hits home: most people would never notice the difference. They'd spend this coin without a second thought, completely unaware of what they just gave away. And that's what makes this hunt so exciting and so frustrating at the same time, because the line between ordinary and extraordinary is incredibly thin and often invisible to those who aren't looking closely enough. So as you go about your day, handling coins, making small purchases, or sorting through old collections, keep this story in the back of your mind, because the next time you see a 1969 nickel, it might not be just another coin. It might be a hidden piece of history, a rare error, or even something far more valuable than Anyone expects, and that's the thrill of coin collecting. It turns everyday objects into potential treasures and transforms simple curiosity into the possibility of discovery.